you are operating in the market since past couple of years, right? So how has the market evolved so far?
Oh, it has been humongous for us. We have grown year on year almost 500%.
Yeah, hi Ayush, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much, Mohit, for asking. Yes.
Okay, great, great. So let me set the context of discussion first. Today we'll be talking about automation in SCM and how it can boost brands. All right. So today we have Ayush, who is founder of Genefied. So before we start the discussion, I'm curious to know more about your journey. So if you can shed some light over there, it'll be great.
Yeah, of course. I've been very, very fortunate to have a decent family background. My father has built warehouses across India, but I was always into technology. In when I was in eighth standard, I built the first website for my the first website which I built was for my school. So that is how the interest came in. And when I came back from Lancaster University after my graduation in 2013, I couldn't relate to the business, the family business, and I really wanted to do something of my own. The self-made drive which was there, and hence I started something known as Web Shuttle. Initially, my dad was absolutely anti of it, being a Marwadi, traditional business background. I couldn't pursue it. There were many challenges. I was not being supported, the emotional as well as monetary support. So I sold my first software for 5,000 rupees to a call center, and then never looked back. In 2017, we decided that we had to build a product rather than building apps and websites for everyone and doing different technologies. We should have a scalable platform, and that is when I identified that there was a need for a technology which could help brands boost their monetary ROI, and as well as minimize their effort, can help brand scale in terms of supply chain traceability, and could act as an anti-counterfeiting feature as well. So we combined all these scenarios which a brand of a consumer brand requires today for an SCM traceability, and also help consumers connect with brand, building a bridge between the brands and the consumers and all the rest people in the supply chain. So this is what this was my journey, and this is how I've landed up here making Genefied.
All right, all right. That's quite interesting to hear your take on this. So basically, before moving to the next question, I would like to introduce all the audience to Loan in Touch, primarily, who is also sponsor for this video. So basically, Loan in Touch acts as a bridge between a customer and a lending bank. So if you are a person who is looking out for a home loan, they have made the whole process very simple and quite fast, right? So you can get your loan dispersed within 72 hours, and they are primarily operating in Pune, Aurangabad, and Nashik. So if you are a person who is seeking a loan as a customer, you can check their mobile application. And the best part is that you do not even have to pay a single penny to get their services from as a consumer, right? So I believe that's quite interesting, thing that they are offering, right? So, moving on to my very first question for you, Ayush. So, if you can give me an overview of the industry that you are operating in, it will be great. So, they'll also set the context and we can move further from there.
Okay, so we are a supply chain tech. We are primarily helping all the consumer-oriented brands, consumer brands. So these consumer brands could be electronics, appliances, tires, wires and cables, real estate equipments. These can be any kind of finished goods like FMCG, these kind of like water bottles, or anything which is a tangible product, which can be measured from one place to another. They travel from one place to another, and their information at each point of the supply chain is very, very necessary. Today we all see that we, due to COVID and due to multiple trades coming into, there is a disrupted supply chain. Brands are unable to figure out which particular product is lying at which stage. And especially with the brands which have a bigger FIFO challenge, first in first out. Sometimes what happens is the brand doesn't move the inventory the way it should move, at the lower levels, at the distributor or the retailer levels. So what do we do is that we help automate the entire supply chain for all these consumer brands. So my target segment would be a consumer brand. And what we help them we help them, strategize their entire supply chain traceability. So this is how we function, and this is how we function with different industries.
Okay, interesting. So, what are the challenges that are faced in the industry at this point in time, according to your experience, since you are operating in this industry since past couple of years, I believe, right? So, what are the key
Definitely.
challenges that are faced by brands?
Oh, definitely. There are numerous challenges. So, say for example, if you talk about a brand which is operating in a general trade segment, I'll first tell you what is a general trade, what is a D2C, and what is a modern trade as well. So, a general trade is, say for example, if a brand produces a water bottle, right? That water bottle comes out from a plant, and the plant can be an OEM as well. It cannot be their own plant. It can be a different plant. They are a huge brand. So they have 14 different plants, and around 4 of them company owned, and 10 of them, you know, are co-packers, or OEM, original equipment manufacturers. So the problem starts from there itself. They do not have a visibility of how much production has happened. I'm talking about a general trade, right? And what is a general trade is that, a brand decides to supply the entire inventory or part inventory from distributor, retailer, and then consumer model. So the classic way of actually selling the goods, right? In older ages, or even today, the 60% of the consumer market is still retail oriented, right? So the consumers go to the retail shop and buy that particular product. The supply chain of it on the back end is basically a plant produces the products from their OEM or their own plants, stocks in the warehouse, in the central warehouse, distributes it to the local distributors. The local distributors supplies it to the retailers, and then the consumers get it. So here, what do we do is we get our scanners, and and these scanners are not traditional, wired scanners. We kind of empower mobile phones to scan these shipments at each locations. So we have a complete technology stack in which, mobile phones can become their scanners. And we also give dedicated scanners, which are, robust mobile phones which you see on the airport, whilst you try to take a ticket, right? The similar devices are used at various locations of a general trade, supply chain. And in, say for example, if it is a D2C, right, direct to consumer, the brand would produce from these OEMs, again stack at central warehouse, and then directly supply to the customers, to the or maybe send to the distributors, and the distributors supply to the customers. In that also, what do we do is we help collect the scans and ship it to the consumers with our QR code scannable at each point. So a product, if they will have a QR code, unique QR code, or a unique gene, which we call, at each particular product level, and then at the shipper carton level. And those shipper carton, when they are combined with the invoice QR code, the inventory moves from one place to another, getting scanned at each locations. And the last mile, when the consumer scans it, they can check for the genuinity. So not only we are, giving supply chain traceability to the brands, but we are also helping establish consumer confidence into the supply chain. So it's a plus point for everyone. It's a bonus, cookie for everyone, and everybody is happy in the supply chain. And that is how, that is big the problem is, and that is how we are solving it.
So, basically that brings me to my next question. How do you help brands promote retail sales with basically unswitched loyalty from their end?
Okay, yeah. So I have not mentioned unswitched loyalty yet in the past few minutes, but that is one of the biggest models why brands, would love to go for, supply chain traceability and authenticity software SaaS provider like us. Uh, uh, Majorly, it this kind of a tool, we when we went to the brand, we understood that brands wanted some ROI also along with whatever they buy. In India, everything is related to money, right? So we told them, okay, what we'll do is, since you're already putting a loyalty model for the distributors and for your retailers, currently what is happening is, the challenge is the brands, when they pass on money to the distributors, is not passed on to the retailers. Now we need to understand the retailers are actually heroes. In the pandemic also, there were models which were omni channel models. Amazon picked up, or even grofers which have come up with a new model, Blinkit. They are picking up the inventory from the retail itself and supplying, right? So retailers are our main heroes, right? So how do you gratify them so that they in turn feel good about the brand and they sell more for the brand? So to getting visibility and to getting scalability in those terms, we developed an unswitched loyalty model, wherein every retailer today, when they get the products from distributor, they can scan either the retailer or the consumer, and there we have another app which has inbuilt scanner which can scan 80 scans per minute, and the retailers can scan and gain some points, and those points can be in turn be converted into gifts or gold coins or silver coins. We kind of maintain an unswitched loyalty because retailers in the back of the mind, they know that they're being gifted when they're loyal to the brand.
Correct, correct. True enough. So basically, how do you help then brands to avoid infiltration, track and trace, basically?
So there's a huge problem which we're also solving by the entire B2B SaaS enterprise. Currently, what happens is, the distributor, when he's distributing in a certain area, usually also wants to sell and sell more, and wants to complete their scheme targets. And they, instead of supplying in Delhi, they supply in Ludhiana, or they supply in Pune, or they supply in some out areas which are not there in their territories, right? How to detect where the particular products are going and whether the diversions are taking place or not? So when the retailer loyalty model comes in, and the last mile consumer loyalty or consumer scanning comes in, we automatically detect, because we tag every particular product towards the distributor level as well. So we can gain the knowledge of, whenever the full track and trace capabilities are there, we can gain the knowledge whether the particular product has been infiltrated or not, and we can catch the infiltrator. So this is how we kind of manage it through the technology, and we've been very successful in our infiltration track and trace model.
That's quite interesting. Now again, when you talk about, a lot of these products have warranties attached to it, correct? So as a brand, how do I know that when the warranty got activated during the retail sales? Because the point of purchase might be today, and the customer signed up for the warranty 7 days, 10 days later. So how do I track that?
Okay, so here is an interesting use case, and everybody of every one of us, faces this particular challenge, and this is a very big pain point, which has to be addressed by all warranty based consumer brands. So say for example, if you Mohit you have taken a TV 2 years ago, and it has a warranty of 5 years, and today if I ask you for finding out a bill for that TV, because TV is not working, suddenly something has gone off about the TV, uh, Mohit, just answer my simple question, that will you be able to find the bill of that particular TV today after 2 years?
Most unlikely.
Most unlikely. And there are so many products, if the consumer brand as a category, we divide it. There are majorly two brands, right? Two types of brands. One is warranty based, which are long lasting, and one are non-warranty based, which are non-long lasting, or we consume it quickly, FMCG, right? When we talk about warranty based brands, we always tend to forget their bills. We cannot handle their bills. So what we have done is, what Genefied has taken a measure is, we have these QR codes, the same QR code which help brands maintain their supply chain traceability, retail loyalty, distributor loyalty. The same brand, when it goes to the consumer, as an appliance, the consumer can scan at the last mile, they can scan the QR code, and the moment they scan the QR code, they have a form, a digital form, wherein automatically it fetches out all the SKU details, and the consumer can fill in their more details, their name, their email ID, wherever they can be reached out to for warranty claim and all of that stuff. And the moment they submit, their warranty gets activated permanently. And the moment they want to claim from the brand, they can claim from the brand they can later on go and claim from the brand. So say for example, after 2 years now, when your TV has to be, is you want it to work and you cannot find a bill, what you can do is you can just go to the portal of this particular brand and directly enter your mobile number, and you can find your bill there, then and there itself. So today we are working with large clients from the warranty segment. For example, Vega helmets. The consumers who are buying helmets can not only scan and gain warranty in instantaneously, but they can also claim an insurance claim for 1 lakh rupees. So we have amalgamated them with an ICICI based insurance. So the consumers benefit whilst activating warranty and also, getting some benefits as well. So this is what we are doing for the consumers at the last mile.
Correct. That's quite an amazing solution that you have out there. So now again, you mentioned that you are dealing with a lot of large customers or large manufacturers, right? So one thing that comes to my mind is that they have to keep a track of their inventory at all point in time, right? So when they are dealing with basically manufacturing. So does Genefied play a role over there as well?
Definitely, yes. So today, when a brand wants to look at their inventory from our dashboard, once we have activated the whole program, once the scanning starts taking place, we give them a back panel or the dashboard. They can select whichever areas they want to look at that particular inventory. And not only the inventory, of course, if they select plant and they see which particular plant, they have 15 plants, they can select that plant and they can look at the visibility, not only the visibility of the inventory which is there at the plant, but the inventory which has checked out of the plant, inventory which is in transit. So say, for example, if one inventory is in the midst of reaching to a distributor, they can figure out that. And the major thing is accountability. Today, the brands can hold responsible for taking care of that particular inventory at that particular place. So say, for example, if there are 14 people taking care of inventories at 14 different locations, we know who has scanned what shipment whilst it was getting outward. So we can give visibility to the brands, not only in terms of inventory, but in terms of accountability. And in return, when accountability is added, we've seen the security is also goes up. So our product indirectly also helps in creating a secure platform for brands to maintain their supply chain.
Correct. Correct. So when I deal with a lot of OEMs, basically, right, in manufacturing industry, so how do I know? How does a brand know real time production level at different OEM? Let's say, for example, I have OEMs in different states across India. So how do I monitor and track those?
Wonderful question. So what happens is, the moment we produce the QR codes, right, we capture it through smart cameras. Whenever the product is on the, we call it FG, finished goods. So whenever the product has been produced now, and the QC, in fact, not only the production levels can be known from the OEM. First, how the production levels are known is, we put some cameras or we put some scanning solution there as well, and we capture whatever has been produced on the OEM level, right? Uh, the moment it is being produced there are also certain kind of rejections. Now brands do not know what rejections are happening, and sometimes these rejected products also land up in the market, right? So the moment it is rejected, we also help brands capture the QC at their OEMs. So every particular batch goes through certain kind of QC and through standards, right? They have to go through standard checks. When that QC happens, we also put that information in that particular batch, that this particular product has been QC'd. So giving traceability not only at the OEM levels of production, but also at the level of QC traceability. So we do it through smart cameras, and we also capture QC traceability. And hence we provide consumers also the safety of the goods they're buying.
Correct. So it brings on more credibility towards the brand as well, right? So if I may put that.
Absolutely.
Correct. So now
Totally.
you are operating in the market since past couple of years, right? So how has the market evolved so far? If you can just shed some light over there.
Oh, it has been humongous for us. We have grown year on year almost 500%. And recently, we've been, called upon to provide services for a very, very large cola brand. I would not take the name. There are only two, but I would not like to take the name. But yeah, there is a huge demand for traceability, supply chain traceability, as well as distributor retail loyalty and consumer authenticity, as well as credibility management. And the good thing about Mohit, about this particular product is that we have seen that people are positive in terms of accepting such technologies. When we pitch it to, say, 10 different manufacturers, out of eight out of 10 want to hear about such technology. So there's a huge acceptability because they know, and they know the challenges regarding the supply chain traceability, and they know the challenges that they need to reach out to each person personally in the supply chain. Now that's not possible when you have a few million products every month coming out of your various plants. How can you one to one communicate with each supply chain stakeholder is still a big serious question which can be asked to these brands. And the moment you ask them, the only answer is that they need to automate their supply chains. So the acceptability has been huge. And the market is looking out for such solutions. It's just a matter of time that 80%, and I go on record and say 80% of the high-end consumer brands, not high-end in terms of, not in terms of money, not in terms of, but in terms of their own value, like listed brands and Fortune 500 brands, consumer brands. It's just a matter of time. 80% of the Fortune 500 brands would require technologies like these to actually automate, scale, and bring accountability in the supply chain.
Correct, correct. So I believe that's where the market is going, and from consumers also adopting the technology, brands are also willing to experiment and get their hands on the new technology that is out there. So yeah, I believe that's all from
Definitely.
my end. Ayush, it was a lovely interaction with you, and I personally like the software as a service SaaS that you are providing to all the brands out there,
Mhm.
and I wish you all the best
Right.
for
Thank
future.
you. Th-
All right.
Thanks, Mohit. It was a lovely interaction as well. And looking forward to amalgamate with Startup Story sometime soon in future. Bye bye. Take
Correct.
care.
Right. Okay. All the best. Bye bye.